Today, we're talking about HOAs, and specifically the 5 red flags that should stop you dead in your tracks before you sign anything. For reference, Realtor.com just put out that about 44% of homes that are being sold have an HOA attached. And if you're buying in South Carolina, there's a solid chance you're going to be dealing with an HOA. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But we want you to do it with your eyes wide open. And we've seen buyers get blindsided for things that were completely avoidable. So let's talk about what to watch for.
All right, number 1 red flag, low reserve funds. Your lender is going to be very, very curious about where those stand in your potential purchase. We are leading off with this one because it can be a deal breaker if you're not careful. So the reserve fund is essentially a savings account. It's what they pull from, what they dip into when they need to get stuff done in and around the communities. The pool pump, the trees need to be replaced, the lights went out around the pool, you name it, there's going to be something that they need to be pulling from.
Yeah, and this is outside of just regular maintenance, which they budget for at the beginning of the year.
And if the account dips too low, guess what? They're going to probably have a meeting and they're probably going to ask you to pick up the balance that they're short on.
Yeah, and that's called a special assessment. Like they didn't budget enough money for the event, bad roof, or a parking lot that needs to be repaved, and everybody in the community has to foot the bill a percentage of that total.
So now that we are talking about how things run in South Carolina, guess what? In South Carolina, there is no minimum threshold that they need HOAs to have. This means that some HOAs are working on very small, tight budgets with little to no cushion, and they don't have any rules to follow or legal obligation to change that. As we said before, your lender might have something to say about where your HOA or future HOA lands with how much money they've got in reserves. They're not going to loan you money and not get their money back, right? So they're always trying to make sure that they're going to get their return on investment, as should you. So your lender and you are probably going to want to review the financials that come when we request your HOA documents. That's going to tell you more than you may want to know, or just enough that you want to know. The lender wants to make sure that the reserves are at a position where they feel comfortable lending you the money to buy that house. Even if you're willing to roll the dice and make sure it works, they may not be. And that can be a deal breaker, and you could be looking at something that isn't going to go forward at all. So during due diligence, we're going to request the HOA docs. We're going to look at the financials so that we can see, did they just finish a giant repaving project? Or is it not being managed very well and we need to have that conversation? Either way, we're going to be looking at those on the front end so that you can make an informed decision on your purchase.
Okay, number 2 is going to be deferred maintenance, because we're not so much interested in the aesthetics of the neighborhood, but we're more concerned about your return on investment.
ROI is huge.
So what we recommend is that you drive through the neighborhood. Check out the pool. Is it in disrepair? Are the yards not being kept up? Is there potholes in the streets in the neighborhood? Because those are things that are going to be important to you if later on down the road you decide to sell.
So you got to think about this from an investment standpoint. This is going to be one of the largest purchases you make in your lifetime. You've got to make a return on your investment in some capacity. The conditions of the pool and the landscaping make a difference on that return on your investment, ROI. A community that looks a little janky when you move in doesn't magically get fixed because you are part of the community. That makes your equity grow a lot slower if the neighborhood is not being maintained.
Look at it this way, you're going to be paying those dues to maintain those spaces. And if they already look like they're in disrepair before you close, imagine what they'll look like years from now. And that's going to drag down your equity. So request the financials, ask what's being budgeted for repairs. The answers or lack of them will tell you exactly what you need to know.
HOA red flag number 3. We see this a lot and it catches people off guard, to be honest.
And you wouldn't think it's a negative thing, because if you're going to move into a community with an HOA, in your mind, you're like, I want my HOA fees to be as low as possible. And sometimes that's good. Like if there's 8,000 homes in a community and your HOA fee is low, well, the reason for that is that cost is being distributed among all those people. Now, if it's a smaller community, and those fees are low, then the red flags start going up, because why would they be collecting so little money if the number of houses isn't that big?
So those large communities that we discuss over and over on this channel have the walking trails, the pickleball courts, the amenities, the lifestyle directors. And those are like line items on the budget. Makes sense. But when you look at the financials, you get to figure out if that's something that's sustainable or not.
Now, the bigger concern with low fees, especially with new construction, is the developer's subsidy. So when a community is being built, the builder is often covering a portion of the HOA to keep the fees attractive. At the end of the day, they want to sell homes. Once all the homes are sold, they turn the HOA back over to the community, and then they step away. Now, the HOA fund has its own reserve account, pays for management, and it's got to cover all the costs on its own. So the fees sometimes go up, and they can go up a lot.
And before you buy any home down here in South Carolina, you're going to get the CC&Rs and any kind of budget or reserve study that they've done on that community. So if they share those numbers with you, that's a good thing. If they are a little hesitant to give you those actual documents, that might be a red flag. So don't let that low HOA number be what hooks you and gets you into that community, because that number, as we have described, can go up.
Okay, red flag number 4 is a lack of transparency from the HOA board. Now, this one is going to be more about culture, right? And it can be easily missed because it's less about the numbers and more about the people involved. So, what does a healthy HOA do? Well, they have the minutes available. They explain the budget decisions that they've made. And an unhealthy one, you might see things like the fees just go up without explanation, or decisions get made and you didn't even have a chance to give your input. And you ask for documents, and guess what? We can't do it, or we'll get around to it, or check back with us in a couple of weeks.
I'll email it over.
Those are red flags. Now, the South Carolina Homeowners Association Act gives homeowners the right to inspect the HOA records, including the financials and the meeting minutes. If a board is dragging its feet on the documents that you're legally entitled to, that tells you everything you need to know.
So before you buy, talk to your future neighbors, find out what they love, what they don't love about the HOA. Is the Facebook page up and running? Is it just a complaining page, or do they actually get stuff done? How many people are on the board? These are all viable questions for you as you're looking to buy in that new community.
And think about this, you have to have an odd number of people on an HOA board, because if you've got 4, 2 say yes, 2 say no, you've got a stalemate. If you have 3 or more, odd numbers are good. Now, where you run into trouble though, is let's say there's only 3 HOA members, and 2 of them, they always vote a certain way, and you're the 3rd person on the HOA committee, and you're like, well, I'm just out of luck because I got no one on my side. So preferably, if you're involved in the HOA meetings, see about getting involved in the HOA itself, because if they have 5 members, if they have 7 members, you got all those minds working together to make your community as good as it can be.
And we recommend this to our clients all the time. You have got to go to one of the meetings, at least one of the meetings a year, to find out where your money is going and what it's being spent on or not being spent on. It is your money, just like any other thing that you spend money on, you need to know. And the other benefit to go to the meeting is to see who the players are. First of all, is one person running the show and everybody's just kind of falling in line, or does everybody have an equal voice? And also, if you see that somebody's getting ready to be voted out, that might be an opportunity for you to step in and maybe potentially make changes that you're living with that you don't like. And red flag number 5, yes, HOAs get sued. What? They totally do. But not all litigation is equal. There's a difference between the red flags and the pink flags and the yellow flags and the white flags. So that gives you a chance to figure out how serious the litigation is.
Now, we have personal experience with this because we had a situation where litigation showed up in the HOA history. However, it was litigation that had occurred 5 years ago and it had been resolved, so it was no longer an issue that was putting the decision to buy or not in jeopardy.
So if litigation does show up, don't panic. That's what we talk about. Pink flags, yellow flags. Don't panic. It just means we need to do a little bit more research to find out what the parameters are and how serious it was.
Now, active litigation is a completely different story. It can mean higher insurance costs, frozen reserves, and financial uncertainty that lands in your lap.
Yeah.
And most lenders won't approve a loan in a community with active litigation. And we've seen it kill deals before.
So when we receive those documents, the CC&Rs and the other documents that we get of the HOA you're looking to buy into, we will check a few things. The board minutes, of course, for the last 12 to 24 months in the community. We're going to look for legal fees and any kind of litigation that might be a part of it. There will be websites that we will check and that are public information per the law of South Carolina to know what's going on with that specific named HOA. And your lender will probably have a questionnaire for you to fill out to figure out what you know, what we need to know, and fill in some of those gaps.
Now, in South Carolina, the standard real estate contract has a line item that addresses who's responsible for HOA assessments. We're actually experiencing a situation like this right now, where the seller had to decide, are they going to take care of assessments leading up until the sale of the property, or are they going to take care of the assessments after the sale of the property for a period of time? Well, that's our job to protect our client and say, hey, we don't want you paying for anything after the close of the deal, because it could be 6 months later, a year later, and you're getting hit with this bill from your previous residence, and you're like, well, wait a minute, how did this happen? That's where we come in.
And you're also going to want to be double checking, triple checking to see which box is checked on the contract when you receive the offer. Again, that's where we come in, but this is what we are looking for on your behalf. To wrap this up, when you buy into a community here in South Carolina, you're not just buying a lifestyle and a pretty new house. You're buying a financial situation, good, bad, or indifferent. And your exposure to that could be pretty significant, and it could affect your day-to-day life in that community.
Now, these are the things we walk our clients through before they sign anything. And if you're buying or selling in an HOA community in the Lowcountry, reach out at our email address, info@mygenxteam.com. And this is exactly what we're here for.
HOAs are more the rule than the exception, especially here in the South Carolina area. So you're going to need experts to be with you through this process. We are those experts, and we will see you around town.